Hello everyone and welcome to DC Central, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down and reviewing iZombie Season 5 Episode 1, the season premiere, otherwise entitled Thug Death, and if you have not seen this episode, make sure you go and check it out before you watch this review, as it will be filled with spoilers. So if you didn't see my video last night, my Tommy Merlin video where I made the announcement for this new series, I did announce that I am going to be reviewing every single episode of iZombie for its 5th and final season. Why is this? Well, iZombie is a show I really love and I really like to talk about. I used to talk about it a lot back in the day. Like, if you've been around on this channel for a while, you might remember I used to do iZombie reviews. And also, it technically is a DC TV show. It comes from Vertigo Comics, which is owned by DC, so technically it's still a DC TV show. It's on the CW, so I thought, why not? Let's just add it to the lineup. So, you know, if you guys are excited about this, make sure you give it a like, and also make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any iZombie review uploads. So, I'll be honest, I think this episode was a bit of a rough start for the season. It wasn't exactly as strong as I thought it was going to be. It kind of was a bit messy overall. I think it kind of, all the different plots that were going on, the different plot threads, the characters and the way it all was put together, it was a bit messy for my liking. So the main plot in this episode is we have a video that is released of CCTV footage showing a woman being brutally murdered by a couple of zombies, and this essentially leads to the humans being afraid of zombies once again, which is something that we kind of gotten over in the past season, but now it seems like there's going to be another kind of uproar due to this video being leaked, and it's also bad for business for Blaine, and it's also bad obviously just for human and zombie relations overall, and makes things a bit more difficult for Liv acting as Renegade. So there's a lot of things going on thanks to this video plot, and it's this big leak that just is causing a lot more fear and a lot more ruckus to continue going on in New Seattle. Now, this is all fine and everything, it's just a little bit, you know, taking a step back, because obviously we kind of got past the humans being afraid of zombies thing, but now it's kind of coming back. But I feel like it's not as bad. Like, it doesn't feel like we're retreading the same storyline, because I feel like where they're going this time is a bit more of like a Civil War kind of situation. So I feel like that's where the season could be going, is a human-zombie war. So if that is the direction they're going, then I'm perfectly happy with them doing this. But if they don't pull it through, this is basically just retreading, you know, the same storyline we had a couple of seasons ago. Now, by the end of Season 4, Peyton was now made acting mayor, and she is continuing to do that in Season 5 right now. She is put on the Frost show with Johnny Frost, you know, the Frostbite, and she is having a very heated conversation with the leader of a human rebel group, or like this human extremist group, and she is extremely, you know, on her side. Like, she knows what she thinks, and she is right, and no one's going to change her mind about that. So much so that this woman who she's talking to actually orders one of her, you know, underdogs in a way, one of her, like, underbosses to go and actually cause a terrorist attack at a Fillmore Graves checkpoint. We see, like, he has this car bomb, and he drives into a Fillmore Graves checkpoint, and I believe they said there were 15 casualties, so, you know, that did quite a lot of damage. And again, this is just further proving that because of the kind of Fillmore Graves thing going on, you know, she's not exactly happy about this, and she's trying to make a stand. And again, she's an extremist. This is an extremist kind of group that she's got going on, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of her as this season goes on, and as this, you know, we're going to see a lot more of this group as the season goes on, because introducing like an extremist group into the show was something I didn't think we would get, but it actually makes a lot of sense given the story they're going with this season. Now, Ravi has potentially found a cure for the zombie disease. This apparently, he kind of talks about how, you know, there was this gene that came through with certain sorts of patients, and he believes if you extract that gene from this certain type of person, then that gene could be used as the cure for the zombie thing. And he is working with this new character who's called Dr. Collier, and she basically finds out about this and wants to tell her superiors about it, but Ravi's basically saying, no, you can't tell anybody about this, because if you do, all of those particular type of people, it's going to be open season for them. They're going to be hunted, they're going to be killed, because, you know, they are essentially the cure. If you've ever played the video game The Last of Us, and you remember, you know, the character of Ellie, and she kind of had something about her that was potentially able to create a cure for the zombies in that game, it's kind of a similar situation in iZombie. There's like this certain breed of people that, you know, if you extract a certain gene from, you know, their body, you can use that to create a zombie cure. And like I say, they want to expose this, Dr. Collier wants to expose this, but she is told not to by Ravi, and luckily she does stick to her thing and says, no, you know, I miscalculated, and, this isn't actually how it's meant to go down. And it seems like, Ravi and Dr. Collier are going to have a bit of a furthering relationship in this season. Like, they're going to become like a bit of a mentor-mentee situation, and they're going to be working together to find the zombie cure. And I think it's very likely that by the end of the season, we will get the cure from both Ravi and Dr. Collier, and it will be because of them working together. And I think that's a fine storyline. I think that works really well. It's actually giving Ravi something to do, because Ravi is a bit of an interesting character in iZombie, because he's not really, given how sort of full front he is in the marketing, and given that he's such like a big main character, he really doesn't get that much to do story-wise. So to give him a really good story like this, I'm really happy with. Now, Blaine has got a few different, like, custom people who he's got on the borders of New Seattle, who is allowing brains to come in and out of the city. And now that this video has leaked and humans are starting to become afraid of zombies again, these people who Blaine has got under his payroll are not letting brains into the city because they are now afraid of zombies. They've seen what zombies can do, they've seen what they kind of are, and he doesn't, these people, they don't want to work for Blaine anymore because, of course, Blaine is a zombie. They don't want to work for zombies anymore. And while Blaine, does throw his weight around a bit, he does eventually get them all, except for one, to kind of go back to their post. One of them basically says, no, I'm not working for you, I'm not working for zombies. You said that zombies are just like regular people, but that video shows otherwise. And Blaine essentially kills him. So, basically this comes back to the video plot. This video is really bad, not only just for the human-zombie relations, but also due to, it's not good for business for Blaine and Donnie, because they can't get brains in and out of the city without controlling the customs, and not be able to control the customs because the customs people don't trust them anymore. So it's kind of like this video has really kind of sent the city into a spiral and sent the characters into a spiral, because they don't know where to go from here, because everyone is now afraid of zombies again. And that's a bit of a shame, because obviously they're not going to be able to do the things they want to do. And I feel like that's going to be a big thing going forward. I think a big theme for the rest of this season is going to be, humans coming to learn to trust zombies again. And obviously I think that'll all come to fruition with the cure by the end of the season, because I feel like, with this being the 5th and final season, it's very likely we could see a cure in the season finale. Now, Liv and Babino are both looking into this video thing as well. They're trying to find out who the woman was who was slaughtered in the video, and they come across this guy who is the boyfriend of this supposed victim, and, he basically starts panicking, thinking, it can't be her, and he basically pings her phone on the Find My Phone app, and this leads them into this kind of like forest park area. He goes there in the middle of the night and is shortly found after by Babino and also by Liv, and he's found her jacket with her phone inside of it, but no body. So it's a bit of an interesting situation. We don't know where this woman is. Is she dead, or has she just been extracted and taken somewhere else? We don't know. Like I say, all this guy found in the woods is the girl's jacket with the phone in it, which explains why the phone was tracked there. So her belongings are there, but not the actual body. So it's not 100% confirmed yet if this character is dead or not, but this is actually a 2-parter episode. At the very end it does say to be continued, so this is going to be carrying on next week. So this is essentially a 2-hour episode split into 2. So we have this episode, and part 2 is coming next week, and this is where this story is going to continue. I personally believe obviously she's going to escape, and I think it very well may be that she turns into a zombie, and then again, because of this human fearing zombie thing, we might see a bit more friction between the relationship between this character and his girlfriend. But as I said, I feel like this episode is incredibly messy. Like, all these different storylines that I just went through, it cuts back and forth towards them with no real fluidity or flow to it whatsoever. It just kind of cuts and then cuts and then cuts. Especially the scene where the extremist actually commits a terrorist act by driving the car bomb into the Fillmore Graves checkpoint. Like, they have the song Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead playing in the episode, and literally the song just cuts, like it just ends, and then we're on to the next scene. And again, it just like it cuts, like it's a dead cut. There's no fade or anything like that. It's just a dead cut, and that's what I mean. The editing overall is very poor in this episode, and it kind of comes across because it just makes everything feel choppy and makes everything feel very rough around the edges. And I feel like that is a big thing for this episode. Is the individual storylines themselves were not too bad, and for the actual story kicking off this season, not too bad. But because of the editing and the way the episode was framed, it just makes it feel very messy and again very rough, and it's just not that fun to watch in that way. And that's another big complaint I have with this episode. This episode wasn't particularly fun. Like, iZombie is a very fun show. Like, it's a fun take on the zombie thing, and this episode in particular wasn't really very fun. It kind of took the fun out of it, And I kind of hope they get rid of that for the rest of the season because, again, I want a fun final season for iZombie. So hopefully they'll get rid of that because, you know, having iZombie without fun, it's like having Arrow without Oliver. Like, it's just like, what's the point? Like, that's the whole point of iZombie. It's supposed to be a fun take on the zombie genre. So let's make sure we get that back for the rest of the season going forward, please. Overall, though, like I said, bit of a rough start for iZombie, I won't lie. I didn't really love this episode like I thought I was going to. I was really excited for iZombie's return. I'm a huge fan of this show, and obviously I'm really excited this is the final season, so I'm really excited to see how they're going to wrap up this storyline. I believe there's only 10 episodes this season, so a reduced length than regular. But I feel like, you know, this episode... I feel like next episode is going to be similar because this is going to be done by the same people, but hopefully by the time we get to episode 3 of this season, we will see, you know, the typical style of iZombie come back, and we will be able to see that ride out to the rest of the season because this episode was very rough, it was very messy, very badly edited, and it makes the overall storyline, which wasn't that bad, seem very poorly executed, and that's a shame. So thank you guys for watching this video, I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like, it'll help me out a lot. And share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV and get them to join the community. And as always guys, please subscribe for your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and iZombie. And with all that said guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.